Those are the teachable parts with the upper and the lower body hooked together. Now, look what happens, just as a teaching point, if Molly does not spin. And again, the head and the back foot are the two most glaring problems that kids have. Watch what happens if she does not spin with her back foot. She has a town and country swing. She's got this knee and this foot heading to the town and everything else heading to the country. And did you notice how it pulled her body back? Because this was nailed to the ground. So in essence, most of the kids that we get have always been just upper body hitters. In order to have create balance in your swing, to have that center of gravity, they both have to work simultaneously together. So if you were to analyze this, she's actually transferring the weight from her backside through the softball on the swing. Now there's where the power comes from, where the hips are exploding onto the ball with the hands together through the swing, that when she finishes, now the weight ends up more towards the front side. We're transferring the weight through the ball and not in the stride. We're transferring the weight in the swing through the ball to finish to the front side. Now she has used all of her body parts in unison, under balance, for the greatest chance of success. But the two biggest glowing errors are the head and the feet. Now I would suggest this, that if you have a kid who has problems with just the back foot, easily correctable, unplug the back foot and unplug all the upper body out of the motion, as we've done on our other tapes, our drills tape. Just isolate some different spots that you can work on this. No stride, spin. No stride, spin, head in. No stride, spin, head in. Now once you feel like they've got it, pick it up, set it down, inside ball, spin. So actually what I've done, and there are numerous other drills to help correct this, I have isolated only that portion of her swing that needs the most work, without letting all of the other portions of her swing interrupt this process of worrying about this. I've eliminated all of those things except the one specific thing. All right, let's just say, for instance, it happens to be the head. Then we'll let her rotate her shoulders and stare at an object and make her head stay right there. But let her rotate her shoulders and let the head never ever move. So if you will unplug that one portion of the swing that the kids are having the most trouble with, and accentuate that and practice that over and over and over again until you feel good that they have that in the swing, then plug it back into the teachable parts of the swing. And at some point, in the beginning, you will see the kids internalizing this. You'll see them like thinking out loud, okay, 50-50, all right, now to 60, now to 40, now swing and leave the head in. And you'll see that in their swing for a period of time because they're thinking inside of all of these parts. It sounds stupid, but I call it the pie theory. I have this unique belief that every child is like a snowflake. There's never two alike. And so when I teach and start out with my little 5- and 6-year-old kids, which are my favorite, the very beginners, I'll ask them how many people like pie. They'll all raise their hand, and of course at that age you got to take time out to let them tell you what their favorite pie is, because they all have to tell, oh, I like cherry pie, my grandmother's cranberry, or whatever it is. And when you're done with that, then you say, okay, now everybody knows what a pie tastes like. Yes, we all understand what a pie tastes like. Very good. We all know what a pie looks like. Everybody raise their hand. We all know what a pie looks like. How many people here know how to bake a pie? No hands go up. They know how to eat them, how to taste them, how to recognize them, but they don't know how to bake a pie. And to truly understand a pie, you need to know how to bake a pie. So you butter the dish, okay? You roll your dough. You put your dough around, you thumb it all around the edges. Now you've made your ingredients, whatever it is, apples or whatever it is you're putting in the middle. You pour those in, then you take your dough around the top, put it on the top there, pound it in there with the old fork, make the holes in it for the heat to escape, sprinkle your sugar on the top, you got a pie. To truly understand a pie, you have to make a pie. And that is the theory that we use in teaching. To truly understand all the teachable parts, to understand the whole, you have to know the parts. We divide everything we do, whether it's pitching, as to where we stand in the rubber, how we hold the ball, where the glove should be, so that they understand all the teachable parts. The next thing I would do that's very important in teaching any of these things in hitting is I would ask questions. You want to see what kind of teacher you are? Ask questions of your students. Don't just tell them, here's how we stand, this is where we do this, all right, do it. And then have somebody say, Molly, why do you stand like that? Then Molly says, because Greg told me to. Not what I want. I want to say, Molly, why do you stand with your feet spread there when my feet are spread out here? And Molly's answer is going to be, because I feel very comfortable here. This is an athletic position that is the one that I feel like I can move the quickest out of. Great answer. And then why do you bend your knees? Why not stand stiff-legged? Not because Greg told me to, because from this position I feel like I'm quicker with the weight over the balls of my feet. All right, Molly, give me some skin. Okay, now we're cooking. And see, once you get those kinds of answers back, start to create higher thinking skills in the kids. Say, well, why not hold your hands like this? Because then some kid will raise his hand and say, because then your bat will drag through the zone. You'll say, oh, great answer. Then you'll find out if they have internalized these teaching concepts and can make the answers come back in the right form, rather than because he told me so. Years ago when I was a player, and I've changed my teaching methods from last week to this week, from a month ago to this week, because I'm learning more from my kids, I'm learning more from other coaches, I'm learning from high school coaches, college coaches that come into our academy, and the things they say, and they're telling me drills they do, and I go, you know what, I used to do that drill 30 years ago. It's a great drill, I forgot about it. I'm going to start using it again. Don't get locked into one way of teaching, because you limit the chances for your students to succeed if you only have one avenue. And what I call it is the grocery store theory. If somebody showed you one avenue to get to the grocery store and you travel that same avenue for 100 years or 100 days, what happens when they've got a roadblock and they're repairing the street? I can't go to the grocery store today. So if you have 1,000 ways to get to the grocery store, no matter what happens, you have another option and another way to get there. And that's what I think teaching and coaching is gather as much information as you can to be able to teach your kids. Maybe the vocabulary that I'm using with her today, she doesn't understand. So maybe I have 10 different ways of explaining to her the same concept. And maybe the fourth one that I use, she says, now I understand. Great. Doesn't make a difference if it's my idea, someone else's idea. They're all borrowed anyway from our experiences. The coaches who fail are the ones who are afraid to make changes. The ones who are afraid to learn more. And that's indicative of every part of our society. If you are a great coach, it's not reflected by your record. It's reflected on how many kids you've helped become the best they can be. And what we try to do in our academy when they come in the very first time when we sit them down, if you want to set up 2 lessons a month, that's wonderful, but you better understand that your success or failure is going to be predicated on your time spent on task. Probably the greatest thing we have to offer kids is to make them become self-teachers. Also, the fact that they are responsible for their own success and their own failure. And if we've done our job as teachers, they won't need us when they leave us. If we have not done our job as teachers, they will always feel like we are their crutch and they cannot succeed without us. I'd like to invite Maul back in. Say thanks a lot, Maul, for helping us out with our video. I got her for another 1.5 years in the school, and then we'll be sending this one off to college and hopefully for a chance to play college softball. I hope today's tape helped you learn some things about teaching things in total parts and breaking things down into their teachable parts. And I hope it also helped you with what the actual swing is and how you keep it into balance. Because balance is a collection of energy around the center of gravity to a direction. And if your kids can do that, they have the greatest chance to succeed.